about me. I am making this conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to your care, and I'm asking you, please take over all parts of my life.
Un faux vidéo.
Move into my heart, however you do it.
Porte d'entrée, sécurité. Faut voir, j'ai déjà défoncé la porte pour rentrer chez nous. Ça a été renforcé, inquiétez-vous pas, bye.
Holy Spirit, and make me know your will. And now, God,
You do care about it, care about it. If you don't give a shit, don't give a shit. Okay, bye.
I rejoice that I am not part of your people, God, my uncertainty is gone forever, and that you're not controlling my will.
I'll be back.
Thank you, and I praise your name. Amen. Just it's simple, yet complex. And he talks about the higher power and love and the management of the care and turning your will over. This is what we do. We keep it simple, talking about God's love, feeling the love, and receiving that love, and being able to give love back. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. You got to give it away to keep it. When I first came into the rooms of AA, I didn't know what really true love was, and I can think of back on, the fellowship, the camaraderie. The first instance that I really witnessed a certain different type of fellowship was, my son, he went to a Jesuit school in high school, and he played football, and the team, they were a solid combined unit. And one day, coming off the field, and I didn't even realize it until I heard them, but like when they were saying their goodbyes for the day, they would say back to one another, "Love you," just as we do in the rooms of AA. So that fellowship, that sense of belonging, goes deep in different ways. And it's not just in AA and the fellowship, it's throughout life. It's those connections in which I believe that we make are solid at the end of the day. We try to pass on, or I should say I try to pass on, what was given to me. The love that I shared, a lot of the times goes through those living amends. Because when I first came into the rooms, I didn't know squat. I knew how to be a good person, but somewhere along the way, I became that selfish, self-centered, dishonest person. So I had to become the person that I really needed to be. And the only way I could do it is work through the 12 steps. And God's help, the fellowship, AA, truly grateful and blessed to be part of what this thing is called, this AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. Giving my life back. It's giving me a different perspective on how important life is. To try to help another individual, sometimes it's as simple as just going to the store and giving somebody, a clerk, a smile, reading their name on the name tag. It gives them a sense of, I am somebody. Somebody noticed me. And that's sometimes it's as simple as that. But to give love back, I say in the living amends, to be part of, to be of service, whether it be through AA or to family. I always go back to that responsibility pledge. When anyone anywhere reaches out, I want the hand of the AA to always be there. For that, I am responsible. Take that to heart. I think of A number one, my brother, on how he was lost in his addiction. He lost his life to this addiction in 2013. I didn't know anything about AA. I was still 7 years removed from even entering the rooms. But had I known now what I knew then, I would have been able to help. But I still have no regrets. I mean, it was God's plan somehow, some way. So when anybody is reaching out, I always stick my hand out to be of service to family. I say it is important because A, number one, none of you invited me to the rooms of AA. It was because I badly broken myself up. I needed help. I needed to surrender. I needed a change in life. And when I came into the rooms, I realized how important life was, how important it was to make those living amends. You know, today being of service, whether it be through my brother who had a massive stroke 4 years ago, is still doing so great. To be here at my grandfather's house. He's 92. He's wanting to live his days out at home. So he asked me to do the overnight stays. So every other week I come in at night, stay till the morning. You know, I'll do it as long as he asks, or as long as he's able to allow me to be coming in and just be part of, once again, you know, those living men, to be able to be with my family, to get that relationship back with my wife, to have a relationship with my son, who's about to graduate college in 2 months. I mean, good Lord. When I started this program, he was in high school, and it's like, wow. I look back and I'm just amazed on how the program has kept me engaged to be able to help others in ways that I could never have imagined. And I'm truly grateful each and every day on just being able to talk to another individual on the phone, 12-step call, sponsorship, different meetings, you know, just sharing the wealth of knowledge in which you all have given me, the importance of how important life is. It truly is. The one thing that I always like to say is, I never know when my last day on this earth is going to be. I truly don't. So each and every day I try to make it count. Try to give that love that love was given to me. Give it to other individuals. And we started just by connection. Get those phone numbers out. Get into that direct chat and share those numbers. An important part in life is that connection. Like they say, opposite of addiction is connection. And I was definitely not part of the human race during my active alcoholism. So today I'm just grateful to be here, grateful to be part of AA, and want to go to hands, and I appreciate y'all letting me be of service, and we'll go with hands. Please raise your hand and share on whatever it is from the reading, where you're at today in your sobriety, whatever it may be, but just, you know, be part of. If you want to just raise your hand and introduce yourself to the meeting if you're a newcomer, that would be fantastic too. So let's go to hands, and let's go to the participant list, and the first that I see is George from the Principality of Monaco. Let's see, asking you to unmute.
Good afternoon, Michael. Good afternoon, Lauren G. Christine, New York. Oh my gosh, great to see all you folks. And thank you for being in service. You're an alcoholic. And excellent lead this morning. What a great message. It's been a rough fortnight for me. But if I can get through this, imagine what else I can get through. Tuesday, from my lips to God's ears, I will celebrate 16 years of sobriety. Despite all of the challenges, we do it, right? We do it one day at a time. But man, the past 2 weeks is the toughest it's been for me. But that, thankfully, you know, I have my higher power. And because of that, it's been really rewarding. And I've met people I would never have met before. And I remember in that first year of sobriety, you know, here I am, I'm crazy, but I think I've got it all figured out. That's what I thought for the first 6 months of my sobriety, going into those rooms, and those meetings on the beach in Hawaii. I thought, oh, this is easy, I just have to show up at a meeting and stay sober. Oh, how far from the truth I was, but I'm still building a worthwhile life. And today I felt a bit wobbly, so I pick up my tools, pick up my phone, get into a Zoom meeting, and you know, and keep it simple. And my first year in sobriety was a full-time job, one day at a time. And the thinking, the compulsion, the obsession, this is what I deal with sober. And, it's just amazing how easy it is, to just turn it over to higher power. Not the higher power that I learned about as a child in synagogue. It's the higher power that is loving and mindful and aware, and it's just clearing all the thoughts out of my head, and accepting, relying on that higher power. Because things happen in my life, and it can go straight to the negative, because that's probably by default. I invite it in. So I have to pivot and invite the positive into my thinking. And that's something I wasn't able to do before my recovery 16 years ago, because my mind was so clouded by drinking and drugs. And when my peace is messed with, I talk it out, I get into a meeting, and I choose my words wisely, I hope. So make it a great day, everyone. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. Greetings from Monaco.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you, New York. Man, it's been a journey. I appreciate you. I appreciate you just being here all the time.
Thank you, sir.
Leanne, coming to you, asking you to unmute.
Oh. Hi everybody, Leanne, alcoholic, day 6. I've just been going through like the step 1, ha ha ha. And I first entered the doors of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is scary because I've been going back through my history, on the 6th of August 2021. And that was shortly following my marriage separation. Wasn't doing so well, but in all that time, I didn't consider myself an alcoholic. I just thought, going through a bit of a shit time, drinking excessively, that happens. And those phases, especially with emotional drinking coming up as life happens, I kept going in and out, but I was just going through the process. I never actually committed to having a sponsor, to doing a 12-step program. I just sat and I listened. But, there were times when I go to a meeting, pop to the shop on the way home, get a couple of bottles of wine and get pissed. So here I am, nearly 5 years later, having gone through the process and been in this state of denial for a very long time. The events of the last few weeks have made it absolutely clear to me that I am an alcoholic. That's not to say I can't go through phases of not drinking, but the difference is when I do drink, after that first drink, I have, there's no stopping. I will drink until I pass out, regardless. And that's quite a realization, to be honest, especially now in a situation of being a single mum. I can't be doing shit like that. I've had to send my little boy to be looked after by my sister-in-law so I can sort myself out. And, looking at the consequences if I do not do something about this is that I could lose my son. So, the difference in AA between just going through the motions of it and actually being at the point of accepting you have a problem, believing that this can help you and surrendering to the process is huge. It's absolutely huge. And even just going through the consequence list, when I look back, or the powerlessness list, I realized how much of my life could be so different if alcohol was never a part of it. So here I am thinking, oh, it's just this one thing. But actually, when you look back over, a couple of decades and all the consequences that have arisen, all the people that you've hurt, all the inappropriate behaviour, it's actually it's quite harrowing to sit there and just think, shit. The people I blame for, abusive behaviour, blah, 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 it doesn't make a difference right now. My responsibility is to that little boy. I have to heal. It doesn't matter what shit I've been through in the past. I have to get over that. I have to find a different way of coping with life that does not involve alcohol or any, negative behaviours that are going to affect that little boy's life and my ability to be the best mum I can be. So, thankfully he's coming back to me on Mother's Day. Because, I've joined the program, I've been to the doctor, I've got myself some antidepressants, I'm in therapy now. Everything's gone well this last week. It was just a royal slap in the face and a kick up the ass. And I bloody needed it. And thank God this is here 24/7 because this has been my lifeline. So thank you very much, Michael. Thank you to everybody for sharing because, a lot of people are sharing the consequences that could be in front of me if I continue down that road. So it works very much as a deterrent. So thank you for sharing some of the hardest times of your lives that you've been through, because I feel like it will help support me to not have to go through that, for my son not to have to experience that. And so thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. That was a beautiful share, and thank you for being here. And to be able to break that cycle and show that love to, just like it says in the reading, to show that love to that little boy. That's the key right there. Man, it's a beautiful share. Thank you. Appreciate it. Coming to you, Max, in Amsterdam, asking you to unmute.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Max Alcoholic and calling in from Amsterdam. Michael, thank you for your lead. I got so much from it, especially when you talked about the importance of life. And I remember being in therapy around the age of 15 or 16 and just telling my therapist, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to get a job, and just as if all that stuff was a given. Little did I know what God had in store for me, or more at the point what I had in store for myself. Active alcoholism, rock bottom, and unemployment, etc. And just realizing that actually life isn't something, life can just happen, and when it was just happening, it was awful. And actually I need to, some people are born with a manual to life. It turns out I wasn't, and I needed a solution, because when I thought my life was playing out as it should do, and when I was trying to do things my way, I ended up homeless, unemployed, and living on a friend's couch. And now, when God for me is everything, and I try and keep a God-centered life and keep my program first, then actually I have this incredible richness in my life, loving family, and you mentioned being able to be present, still working to have that kind of relationship with my parents that are aging. It's an aspiration for me, and I'm a parent myself today. My son's 3 years old, so hearing about your son going through college was really something that, God willing, I hope to experience one day. And I'm just really thankful for this meeting and this reminder of the importance of life. So thank you.
Thank you, Max. I appreciate your share. And they grow up so fast too. The importance of just being there. Wow, it's an amazing gift. Thanks for your share. Shaz in South Africa and now living in Germany, asking you to unmute. Sorry if I messed your name up, Shaz.
Oh, no, it's alright. Hi everyone. My real name is Sharon, and I'm an alcoholic. And call me that next time. Hi everyone. The sun is out and I'm in Germany. It's so amazing. Oh, it's what a beautiful day. Seriously, I went for a run and I found a bench. It's a lovely bench. And I decided, hey, let me jump on a meeting and just like put a pause on the run and come join you guys. And I'm so glad I did. Whenever I try and take control of my life, I don't know, it never goes as I plan. And then I get upset. So I really just have to hand it over. And while I was running, just before I jumped on the meeting, I was just thinking, I was like, there really is an easier, softer way. There really is. And yeah, this is the easiest, softer way, just handing over and letting my higher power steer the wheel, yeah, basically. But of course we have to keep paddling, right? Like we can't just stay in one place. So we have to keep making actions so that we can end up going in the right direction. And just trust that it's the right one, and it's just the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And you just got to decide which one of those three the moment is for. And yeah, I'm a very grateful little alcoholic over here. Very, very grateful for this beautiful life. It's not always roses, but today it is. So I'm happy for that. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. Man, that sun is looking good on out there in Germany right now. I'm jealous. It's nice and dark and cold here. All right. Thank you for sharing. Coming to you after asking you to unmute.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm an alcoholic. Can you hear me?
You are heard.
Okay, awesome. Oh, my heart's like racing right now. Every time I like go to share, I just get so nervous, but I really like push myself to share. I haven't been in a meeting in so long, and I just randomly got this overwhelming urge to like get into a meeting or go to a meeting today, and it just didn't align with my work schedule, and I just randomly found this online AA meeting, and I'm so grateful that I found it. Just hearing the other shares, it's just really helped center myself. I've been messing up so bad. I just relapsed, and I haven't been doing anything about it. I haven't really told anybody. My family doesn't know. And I'm staying afloat with work and everything. And I know it's only a matter of time before I'm about to lose everything. And that feeling is just such an awful feeling, because you know it's going to happen. It's just, when is it going to happen? I really don't want that to happen. I really want to like get it together and get back on the train and give it to God and like get a sponsor again and work the steps again. I've had time before and have went through the steps and thought that was like it, like just going through the steps once, and really I didn't realize it's about having that spiritual awakening, spiritual experience, and sharing that with another person. And it's crazy to me how where I just feel like I'm being really humbled right now, because I just never thought that this would happen again, and here it is happening, and I'm grateful to be alive. So many people are dying out there, and I'm just here, poor me, like pity me, and I'm really trying to get it together, and so I'm scared. I'm really scared, and really scared of myself and this disease. It is so cunning, so cunning. I just wanted to get on here and just tell on myself and share And I don't want to keep rambling, but thank you for letting me share, and thank you for all the other shares. And I'm just really glad to be here.
Thank you for your share, and you did not ramble at all. That was a fantastic share. And if you're looking for numbers, are you looking for numbers or even sponsorship on this platform? Women out there, look for the direct chat, those DMs in your chats. Women are going to send numbers to you for, even if it's just connection on Silver Circle. Get connected. I'm glad you're here, truly, and welcome back. Just remember, never have to drink again. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Rich. Becky, coming to you, asking you to unmute.
Thank you, Michael. I'm Rich. I'm an alcoholic. Thanks for your service,
Yeah.
stepping in.
One more time. Yeah.
There we go, I guess. All right, cool. Thanks, Michael, for your service. I'm Rich. I'm an alcoholic. You know, that, the fears and everything that I have, I got so wound up in myself over the past and drank long enough to where I got really kind of twisted out of shape. In the past 5 years of not drinking have given me a great opportunity to see exactly how it was. I was fearful of myself. Like, I couldn't trust myself, and I couldn't trust other people because I'm like, geez, man, you're the only person you should be able to trust, and you can't trust yourself. What's that make you think about other folks? Holy crap, Like, if I can't trust myself, I certainly can't trust other people. And then, of course, I come into these rooms here with you all, and it's just, it's been so reformative to get to know a lot of folks here, and definitely with phone calls. And it's just, I've got one friend from the group who says, you can't really tell the truth without offending somebody. You're gonna offend somebody when you tell the truth, because a lot of people just don't like to hear it. That's it. And we get on these small rooms, not this one, because this is a strange bird, it doesn't stop ever, so you got to get into smaller meetings. But me and like 3 or 4 buddies, it is ruthless sometimes. And we just share, and it's like, Rich, do you really know what can you really just say this over again? I mean, did you just say what you just really said? I'm like, yeah, I did, I guess, what's the problem with that? And it's like, and that's where the crosstalk really helps, because I really appreciate these guys, and I've come to realize that, I can trust them, and they can trust that I'm going to dump on them, and that's it. And we have to let it rip. And you can't do that in texts without pissing somebody off. You can't do that in an email without alienating my sister. I tried to bring my 2 sisters together for like a fucking month, excuse my language, because I'm a fixer, right? And it's like, it's impossible. It's impossible to do it in an email. So don't try to text. Don't try to email. It's a good start, it's a good start. It's a great start. But man, get phone numbers and talk to your friends here. It's just such a great opportunity. And it pulls the honesty out into the light. It pulls our lies out into the light. I can't trust myself because I was just so confused about what the truth was, And it's not that I was intentionally lying to anybody. It's just that I thought that I was doing things the right way, and the truth is that I just wasn't doing things the right way. I was selfish. I was bending everything around to fit my agenda. I was helping people too much because I thought that was enough, but it wasn't. What I was doing was I was dragging them into my shit, right? So I think I'm helping people, but I'm bringing people into the pile with me, and just don't realize that stuff until my friends rip it out of me, right? So thanks, Michael, for your service, and everybody for your shares. Just open up and call each other. That's the best thing. Bye.
Thanks, Rich, for your share. Yeah, this train doesn't stop, and we don't have to be in the engine or in the caboose. We just get in the middle of that train and keep going. I appreciate your share, brother. All right, Kat, coming to you, asking you to unmute.
Good morning, Kat, alcoholic. I'm just grateful for the group. Yesterday was a struggle, and I appreciate all the shares in the read. Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Are you looking for numbers? Did you get some sober contacts?
I have a sponsor. I would appreciate more contacts so I could chat with more people.
Yeah, let it be heard. Women, send your numbers to Kat. She's looking for more Silver Circle contacts. So reach out.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Kat. Jay, coming to you, asking you to unmute, sir.
Hi everybody, my name is Jay. I'm an addict and alcoholic. First off, if you have a birthday today, happy birthday. I hear people talking about randomly, you know, how it just randomly came up that this happened, you know. Well, bullshit. You know, if you've done any work in math, you understand that randomness is something that gets proved. You have to prove randomness. And I think when we say random, we think sort of without thinking. It happened. But if there is no randomness to what's going on, then somehow it's just by happenstance. You know? Well, here's what I think. I think God created randomness. And that's how he leads us. He helps us to feel lost so that we can be found. And I just think that's the way it works. Like living in this sobriety thing is kind of like being on the other side of the mirror in Alice in the Looking Glass, you know. Everything's opposite of what you expect. Or most things are opposite of what you expect. We get into it and we say, oh, this is going to fall apart, and then suddenly, it builds. And we say, this is going to build, and it just falls apart. And then we think, well, I never get what I want. And then you hear the rule. The rule is that we get what we need. And in my experience with that, if I took my expectations or the way I thought shit was going to go down, I would have shorted myself quite a bit. You know, when you're riding shotgun down an avalanche, you got two choices. You can scream like you're panicked out, or you can stand up and surf. And I firmly believe that when God is with us, if we stand up, we're going to be fine. We just think we're not going to be fine. And who are we to think things? We didn't think we were going to get in this shit in the first place. We thought that we could just have a drink. We thought we could just go to the bar. We thought we could do this just on medication without a sponsor. We thought we could work the steps and not change. Did you hear that? It's not enough to do the 12 steps. There's something that happens after the 12 steps, and that's transformation. And I hear a lot of people working the 12 steps 3 times. And I'm like, okay, well, this is obviously not going to work. Because you're unwilling to change. If you're unwilling to change, how the fuck do you think you're going to get out of this mess? They say it's just like a mandate in AA. The same person will drink again. They're asking you to change your personality. And if that scares you, guess what? Your personality got your ass on fire. So maybe it's not a bad idea to change. Thanks for letting me share.
Hey, thanks for sharing, Jay. Yeah, I believe that divine intervention, God brought me to these rooms of AA. So, yeah, there's not a lot of coincidences. It happens for a reason. Appreciate you sharing. All right, we are at the top of the hour, but if there is a burning desire that anybody would like to come on in and share, that is if you feel like you are in danger of drinking, hurting yourself or someone else. Please feel free to raise your hand. Give it a moment. Okay. All minds are clear. Let's pray out with the 11th step prayer there of St. Francis. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where there are shadows, I may bring light, that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen. All right, great meeting y'all. Thanks for allowing me to be of service. And I think it's Christine.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Great meeting. Great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for your service. Good morning, everybody. My name's Christine, and I'm an alcoholic. Happy Friday. Hey, Kelly, good to see you, girl. Could I get a volunteer to read how it works or more about alcoholism, please, when you get a chance? Whoever wants to read, just raise their hand. And if you have a big book, that would be great. All right, so let's get this party started. Welcome to AA Home Group. This is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, and all are welcome here, especially our newcomers. We are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're going to open this meeting up with a moment of silence, and we'll follow that by the 3rd step prayer, please. So let's just take a moment, think of those that are still sick and suffering out there, and pray that they make it back into these rooms, and the ones suffering in these rooms this morning. God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. The AA preamble states, Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Group Conscious. Our next Group Conscious meeting will be Saturday the 21st at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We did have a steering committee meeting yesterday, so we'll have to get that one updated. But for more information on how to connect, just go to our website. And the 7th tradition states that every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. We are seeking 7th tradition contributions, as we are in need of funds to support our basic expenses, which include Zoom operational costs, web hosting, our Big Book program, where we send out big books to those who just don't have the means right now to purchase a big book. Please go to www.aahomegroup.org, click on the 7th Tradition link. You can contribute via Venmo or PayPal. We did update our QR codes a couple months ago, so please make sure you have the correct ones. If you're having any trouble, you're going to want to reach out to Albert C. at treasurer@aahomegroup.org. Now's a great time to give back. And safety. We do take the safety of our meetings and this platform seriously. In addition to being guided by the traditions, this group follows Zoom community standards and AA safety guidelines. If you have a safety concern about something that is going on in the meeting, or you have questions about safety, you are going to want to reach out to a host or a co-host. This morning I have the pleasure to be working with the lovely Sophia and the wonderful Mr. Charlie. So you're going to want to reach out to one of them. You could send them a message, or you can also email security@aahomegroup.org. As always, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions. So who you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, please let that stay here. Hear, hear? All right. Thank you again, Charlie and Sophia and outgoing service team. Thank you again. If you have some concerns, you can file a grievance. In AA Home Group, a grievance is a formal process for addressing concerns or complaints that members may have about the fellowship, its leadership, or its operation. It invites us to practice Tradition 1, our common welfare. Tradition 2, trusted servants, not governors. And Concept 5, the right of appeal. Grievances help ensure that minority voices and individual experiences are heard with respect. It is not a legal entity. It has defined agreements on service, schedule, election, sobriety requirements, and meeting practices. Just email your concern to concerns@aahomegroup.org. Yeah, if you don't like something that's going on, or think it's not fair or something, send them over an email. We'd like to hear it. So let us know. Also, service, volunteer service members are needed. So that's you, 60 days and over. You can join the service team. You can help in the background by being of service, doing safety, letting people in the waiting room, welcoming them in, watching the chat, making sure everybody's behaving themselves. And then at 90 days, if you want to chair a meeting, like I'm doing, you can do that as well. Or you could just do service in the background, whatever you like. But we would love to have you on the service team. Upcoming trainings are March 20th at 11 p.m. Eastern, and then March 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern. To attend one of the training dates, click on the training room button, which you'll find on the main page of aahomegroup.org. You just scroll down a little bit. Service is fun. Come be a part of the solution. And I will tell you, it is fun. We do have fun back there. And, you make friends. And that's how you keep your sober network, right? And you build it and you make it stronger. Sponsorship, which is another form of service. So any newcomers, you will hear the term sponsor quite a lot. I asked my sponsor. My sponsor told me this. My sponsor told me that. I love my sponsor. A sponsor is someone who has worked the steps, who will help guide you through the steps and the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. If you are willing to sponsor, feel free to post it in the chat. If you need a sponsor, post that in the chat as well. And we suggest that you raise your hand and just say it out loud, because sometimes people aren't paying attention to the chat. We also have a newsletter. It's called The Trudge. We have articles posted on our website for everyone to enjoy. We are accepting art, articles, essays, poems, pictures, song lists, creative works of recovery. Open topics are serenity and peace, beating the winter blues, reflections on steps 9 and 10. Send your submissions to communications@aahomegroup.org. We'd love to feature you. And then birthdays. I love to celebrate a good birthday, so does AAHG. Please send in your AA sober birth date to soberbirthdays@aahomegroup.org so we can celebrate you. Please have it in by the 25th of each month. This way we can make sure we get your date in on time. We'll celebrate your sobriety in our fellowship Telegram chat and our Trudge newsletter. All right, newcomers, day counters, celebrants, please head over to the chat, drop in your name, maybe tell us where you're from, and then throw in your day count, please, and we'll celebrate you after my friend, who I love dearly, Mr. J, Jay, are you there? You gonna read for us how it works?
Peter, you're there. Hold on.
All right.
Let me
Thank
say
you, my
my,
friend.
Oh. This is how it works for the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, chapter 5, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They're not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. And some of these we thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol. Cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it's too much for us. But there is one who has all power, that one is God. May you find him now. Half measures avail us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood it. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrong. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory. And when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, as we understood it, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order, I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We're not saints. The point is that we're willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholics, could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could relieve our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if He were sought. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Great to see you this morning. Appreciate it.
I just did it so you would smile.
Anything for you, my friend. All right. I only see 2 day counts in there, people. This is a first for me. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Maybe in like a really late night meeting, I think I might have saw like a really low day count, but all right. I'm going to celebrate the hell out of these 2 people. Katie in Minneapolis is celebrating 96 days. Damn, girl. Hey, let's go. You're almost at that 100 mark. Whoop, whoop. And the beautiful Miss Sophia, who's doing service with us this morning, she's got 137 days of freedom from drugs and alcohol by God's grace. Thank you, Sophia. And Sophia's got 2 new little puppies. Got to put them on camera later, Sophia. Kat is in the house celebrating 191 days. Let's go, Kat. Keep it up, girl. Mr. J, who just read for us how it works, showing us how it really works with 14,521 days. It's fucking impressive. Thank you, my friend. We've got Bob in PA. He's got a nice number, 267, 267 days. Way to go, Bob. Keep it up. We got Max in the house. Morning, Max. He's coming in with 4,337 days. Let's go, Max. He's showing us that this program really works as well. We have Jake S. here with 191 days. Way to go. And the beautiful Miss Jules just joined in. She's celebrating 259 days. Let's go, Jules. My friend Rebecca, our prayer warrior, has got 5 months today. Way to go, Rebecca. Let's go. Jules, I love that hat, girl. Let's get it. We got Charlie, our host in Boston. Love that, Charlie. 468 days. Let's go, Charlie, on this recovery road together. Antoine in Chicago. You made 7 days today. Woo woo! Let's go, Antoine. A full week. Keep it up. Veronica's here. My beautiful friend Veronica. I love you, girl. I'm so glad you're here. 535 days by God's grace. Let's go, V. Utah Lou in the house. 1,126 days. 1 day at a time. Let's go. And Miss Kelly is here. Kelly got here on day 1, guys. Kelly came in on day 1, and she's now got 25 days. What a gift. Keep it up, Kelly. We love you. Miss Molly is here. I love that, Molly. Day 118. 118. Let's go, Molly. Safe travels. And the grateful Lois is here. Love me some Lois. 1,873 grateful days. I love you, Lois. And Dan is here in Arizona, 68 days. Let's go, Dan. Keep it up. You're almost at 70. And Wayne, I think. W-A-A-N-E is like Wayne. All right, let's go. 3,669 24-hour moments of God's love. Amazing, Wayne. Glad you're here with us this morning. I like that. And Dean is here on 9 days. Let's go, Dean. Tomorrow you hit 10 days, double digits. Keep it up. Michael H. Happy Fucking Friday. 1,956 fucking days. Let's go. Let's go, Michael. Glad you're here. Amazing. Thank you. All right. I'm Christine. I'm an alcoholic, and I have 592 days. Yeah. 93 days. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. So happy you're all here with me this morning. Michael, I think it's amazing what you do for your grandfather. I did the same for my grandmother, and what a blessing and what an honor, right? Keep it up, man. All right, so we got Gratitude Hour in the house. We've got us an article to listen to from the wonderful Grapevine. We'll take a listen to that. And then we can share on it or share what's on your heart. I'd like to hear what you're grateful for. So let's get the party started. All right. Grapevine is great. I'll post the link to this article when I'm done, but you do have to subscribe to it to read the whole article. It's like $2.99 a month. So just so you know. All right, here we go.
Our personal stories. God speaks to us in silence. With AA's help and prayer, a mother puts down the bottle, lets go of the past, and reconnects with her family in a new way.
Most of my life, I was a weekend drinker. I had a successful career teaching college and high school. When I retired in 2017, lacking the daily routine and purpose that had filled my life for years, I began drinking a lot more. When my husband of 25 years died in 2008, I sold our home and moved to an apartment. In 2009, our only child asked me to move into his home with him, left to him by his paternal grandfather, a miracle. This was a lovely home in a nice suburban neighborhood in Missouri. My son never married and has no children. After I retired, my son and I visited my brother in Wisconsin. My brother had 29 years of sobriety. We were not very close because we were separated when I was 8 and he was 15 after our parents' divorce. I saw him about once every 10 years after that and occasionally sent a birthday card. He was now living alone in a 2,500 square foot house, having broken up with his girlfriend of 12 years just a year before because she returned to drinking. His house is on 20 acres in a very rural area, and the neighbors have cows, horses, and chickens. There are deer and wild turkeys everywhere. To me, it's heaven. Our visit was so nice. We were there for 2 days and had a lovely time. My son and my brother bonded. When my son and I set out for the 10-hour drive home, I had a terrible craving for a drink. All I could think of was getting home to have a drink. At that time, my son and I did not get along. We avoided one another most of the time, and this had been going on for years. For the next few days, I drank every day. I would tell myself, I'm not drinking today. Yet, I would be sitting, drink in hand, by 11 a.m. By Friday night, I knew this could not continue. This is when I remembered what author Carolyn Mace once said in a podcast. I dare you to ask God to make you quit your addiction. I remember thinking, no, I will not ask God to make me quit. I will ask him to help me. I attended my first AA meeting the very next day. And what a meeting it was. The man who chaired had tattoos all over his arms and neck and was wearing a white t-shirt with a pack of cigarettes rolled up in the sleeve. A woman had a wart on her nose which made her look like a witch from Central Casting. As time went on and I saw her at more meetings, I came to see what a beautiful soul she is and how selflessly she gives of herself to help others. But I looked around the room and thought, what am I doing here with these people? I'm a soccer mom and a college professor, yet every person who shared said something I identified with. They reminded me to look for similarities and not differences, and they all told me to ask God for help. I did what these people said and attended meetings every day. I talked to God every day, and I listened to my intuition and gut feelings. In 2 weeks, I will have 2 years of sobriety. A miracle. On my 15th day sober, our beloved dog of 8 years, Stripe, died. I knew when he did not come upstairs to greet me that morning that something was wrong. My first thought was, thank God I'm sober. I can help my son through his grief. About a week later, my son told me he wanted to move and asked me to call my brother to see if we could move in with him. So that's what I did. And guess what? My brother said yes. Another miracle. In November of 2018, I moved in with my brother. My son stayed back to prepare the house to sell. He moved up here with us 1 year later. He also got 2 new rescue dogs. I gave away most of our furniture and belongings. I only brought with me what I thought I really needed. It was very freeing to get rid of the things I no longer needed. Lamps, chairs, tables, the microwave, dishes, pots and pans, clothing, beds, and more. I was concerned about how the 3 of us would get along. Before my son moved here, our relationship was not good. Now that he's here, the 3 of us get along wonderfully. We all love the dogs. The peacefulness and serenity I feel here in rural Wisconsin is truly miraculous. The dogs are so happy here. My son is a hard worker, and I see him in a much different light than I did when I was drinking. When I drank, I was critical and expected him to be perfect and felt let down when I realized he was a fallible human. Now I realize how wrong I was. I did not accept reality very well when I drank. They say God speaks to us in the silence. I have not had a television since 2007, and I rarely even listen to the radio or use social media. That's another miracle. There was a time in my life when I watched TV all the time. I was addicted to soap operas and all those ridiculous entertainment shows. Today, my life is filled with peace, quiet, and nature. My son and brother are the same. They enjoy the quiet too. My life now is filled with family, AA meetings, lunch with AA friends, and purpose. I do all I can to help other alcoholics. I live my life a day at a time, and I focus on what I can do that day. I try to remember that the past is done, and the future is not here yet. The power is in this moment. MB, Columbus, Michigan.
All right. I really enjoyed that article. I like when I just find them and I don't listen to the whole thing. Like I'll listen to like the first paragraph. I'm like, okay, let's go with that one. That was a good one. I related to some of it. Drinking later in life, you know, that was me. I didn't really start drinking. I was a normie for years and started later, like when the kids didn't really need me as much anymore, you know. They're becoming teenagers and doing their own thing, and, you know, I didn't need me as much, you know. So I thought, you know, I can have a drink after work, you know. I'm working, I'm a hard worker, you know. And that quickly changed. I love that article. I love how, you know, she went from being angry alone by herself, reconnecting with her son and her brother and living a peaceful life, and doesn't even bother to watch TV, right? I think that in itself is like a miracle. Like she has that contentment and peace that she doesn't even need to like drown out her mind with endless, mindless, you know, TV shows or whatever. That's the greatest gift that I think I've received in this program, is the gift of the peace and serenity that I feel each morning when I wake up. Like no more waking up at 3 a.m. with those anxieties, no more waking up sick, no more wondering if I have enough liquor for the day, you know, having to go to the store again, make up a story, where are you going, oh I need to get this, you know, hopping to liquor store so I don't see the same person, even though when I walk in they put the bottle right on the counter for me. So I'm just so thankful for so many things that this program, this way of life, my higher power has given me. Today's Friday, I'm off today. Normally I chair my home group meeting Friday evenings. But today I get to watch my beautiful little godson, who's 11 months old. I'm gonna pick him up, he's gonna come over, he's gonna sleep over. It's my brother's birthday, he's going out with his wife. They're expecting their third baby next month, so they got their hands full. Her mom is watching my older nephew, I got the baby. So, you know, I knew it, and I knew this in advance, right? So I was responsible. I reached out to another woman in my home group, asked if she could cover chair for me. I had the speaker set up, everything. You know, I was never like responsible with that shit before. I would have waited till like 10 minutes before I'm supposed to be there, you know? But not me, not now. I'm a responsible woman. So, what are you all thankful for? What did you get from that article? I would love to hear about it. It's your meeting, so let's chat, people. Enough of my nonsense. Miss Rebecca D, who's celebrating 5 months today. Come on in.
Morning, Christine. Morning, everybody. Rebecca, alcoholic, and it's Gratitude Friday. Great Gratitude Hour. And I am grateful today. I am grateful for 5 months that God has blessed me with. Grateful for 5 months for the strength to be able to make it through. And grateful for you guys for being here every single day of those 5 months, because I would never have made it without you. I would not have made it without you. Christine, your support, everything. I know I'm not supposed to cross talk, but I'm so grateful today. I just can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am. And grateful to my higher power, who I call God, who I pray to every day to guide my path, help me put one foot in front of the other and make the next right decision. Grateful for my new job. After last year, losing a job due to a young associate who had a bit of a temper problem and a bit of a, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm grateful for him, because if it wasn't for him getting me chopped, me losing my job, I would never have found the attorney that I work for now, who is so wonderful, has such a great heart. He also preaches and writes sermons like Faith Over Fear. He's just such a good guy. He has 5 children. He's just an amazing individual. I'm grateful for my son. I'm grateful for my granddaughter. I'm even grateful for my son's fiance, who thinks he has too much mom in his life. That's okay. She has to do what she has to do, and she takes great care of him. She is a blessing. So I just want to say how grateful I am for all of you guys, and that I love you, God, and I trust you, God, and I love you, God, I trust you, God, I love you, God, I trust you, God. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys, thank you. I'm lifting you up in prayer with asking same in return. Thank you for unmuting me and allowing me to get this off of my heart and out of my head. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I love you. See you in the next meeting.
All right, Rebecca, we love you too, our prayer warrior. Proud of you, 5 months, amazing. All right, let's go to Michael. Hi, Michael.
Oh, good morning, Michael Alcoholic. Happy freaking Friday. Christine, thanks for bringing, I love these grapevine readings. They bring so much to the table and so much afterthought of how did I relate? That's kind of what the story is. Like, how can I relate to looking for the similarities and not the differences? When she had mentioned her relationship with her brother, how they wouldn't see each other for 10 years, reminding me of my relationship with my other brother. After losing my brother right below me in 2013, my other brother, who was 5 years younger, we didn't see each other for probably about 10 years. And reasons being, life gets lifey. He moved back to Pennsylvania. I live in Colorado. He started a family. He has 4 kids. But what brought us together was a certain situation to where he came out to visit. And it wasn't to me. He was actually just visiting friends. We haven't seen each other in 10 years. And he was going on a skiing trip, and one morning he woke up and went to take a shower, and boom, automatically had a massive stroke. So that morning he was rushed to the hospital. They put him in a coma. 5 days later, they gave him a 5% chance of living. He did come out of it, and when he came out of it, the doctor said, well, you'll never walk again. So for the next 5 months, he rehabbed himself here in Colorado, and we connected back together. It was like we didn't even skip a beat. We just got right back on the horse. I went down to the rehab facility, which was 30 miles away, as much as I could each week, and we spent the time. And in doing so, here's a kid who has 4 kids at home in Pennsylvania, and I was fortunate enough to be able to be there for him for 5 months and give him a ride back because he couldn't fly with having the surgery, a plate in his head, et cetera, et cetera. He lost all function on his left side, his left leg, left arm, paralyzed. And I think to myself, that could happen at any given time to myself. And I'm just truly grateful to see how he went through that experience with such acceptance. Today, you know, he still doesn't have function in his left arm, but he's able to still swing his left leg and plant it and walk. And his gratitude is like beyond all measure. And I'm grateful for the fact that I was sober at the time. I was able to be there of service to him. And today, it's like we rekindled that relationship, reestablished that relationship back. And it's funny how maybe God works in mysterious ways, but you never know what's right around the corner. So that'll pass the thing. Thanks, PC.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for sharing that with us. What a miracle your brother is. Wow. That higher power, right? You never know what he's doing behind the scenes. Good morning, Jules. Good to see you. Come on, people, get those hands up and more shares.
Good morning, Christine. Julia, grateful recovering alcoholic here. Thank you so much for this gratitude hour. Thank you, service team, for behind the scenes. I am filled in so much gratitude today. I'm in Atlanta this weekend, yesterday, today, for a dental conference for my work. And this is the first ever work trip I've taken without alcohol. And I am such in serenity and peace today because of the work of God's Spirit in my life and going out with coworkers and living in daily life around people that I like to call normies sometimes. It just lets me relax and just sit at, when everyone else is having fun and doing their thing. And I'm the designated driver, first time ever in my life to be put in that position. But I was like, thank you, God. Thank you for this blessing. This does not compare to anything else that I ever could have imagined. There's a website called Essentials of Recovery, and I like to read it. It's snippets from as Bill sees it, and the AA thought for the day, and then daily reflection. So this is one of the prayers that I claimed this morning when I was talking to my higher power, God, that I call, that I pray to every day. I pray that I may become a channel for God's Spirit. I pray that God's Spirit may flow through me in the lives of others. And just having that throughout my thought process and living in gratitude, and how just cheerfulness or just a word of encouragement and keeping the course of living this sober living every day is worth more than I could have ever experienced. Another bonus, I was able to eat with one of the members here on this platform yesterday, and we got to meet in person over, seeing each other on Zoom, and had coffee and fellowship, and we did the 86, page 86 and 87 study, and my goodness, what a beautiful way to live. Thank you so much for this program. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day.
Love you too, Jules. Have a safe trip. That's so exciting that you got to meet somebody on the platform. It's beautiful to make connections, right? And then to see the person in real life. So that's amazing. Have a safe trip. That's one of the, I love like new sober first, like your sober first work trip, your first sober this, you get nervous about it, but when you're experiencing it and doing it, it's like, hell yeah, I got this, Morning, Eric. Glad you're here with us. Asking you to unmute.
Hey everyone, good morning. I'm Eric and I'm an alcoholic. I did not expect to get called on right away, but anyway, that's a good thing. I have some very troubling concerns, and I want to talk about it, and please no feedback. Because that's important. I see that takes away from the spirituality of everything that goes on. I understand some people value that at meetings, but I think it takes away from the spirituality. So no feedback, please. So I'm a Lyft driver, and I was involved in an accident on Friday night that's still in my area. No one is hurt that I know of, but it's being dealt with in the courts. you know, whose responsibility it is being dealt with in the courts, which is how it should be. But since then, I've had Saturday, early Sunday morning at 1 a.m. I got a notice from my bank that someone was posing as me online, and they were attempted to purchase something, a membership that I was not interested in, that wasn't me. Then I think it was Monday, for 14 or so hours, I could not use my email on my phone. And I had very important information to get to my Lyft, to get to the company about what happened. I haven't been able to drive. I haven't been able to make any income since Friday. I mean, at that point, it was since Friday. I've been able to drive a couple of times, since, to make some money, but nothing nearly what I usually make. And then Tuesday evening, I got a very strange text message from someone that knows the area that I live in. They didn't identify themselves. And then also yesterday, right before I started to drive to make some money, because when I'm not driving, I'm not making money, there's a large scrape on my car, and it's about 7 inches long, on the driver's side of my car. And I just called the police again about this just a few minutes ago, and they were like everyone else so far. The 2 insurance companies looking into this, my lawyers looking into this, questioning me, why do you think that this is related to the accident, the quote-unquote accident, what happened on Friday night? I just have that feeling because I was there, because I know how scared I was, and how I know how everyone acted. 4 EMTs were there for the pedestrian. Only 2 were really needed. And no one, I repeat, no one bothered to come over and just quickly, after they treated her, she was fine, she was conscious, fine, whatever, quickly asked me, look into my pupils and say, are you okay? The police officer that got there Friday night wrote me up for a ticket without even getting my side of the story. So when I say that I feel like the entire state, and when I say the state, I mean that I feel that the entire government is against me, I have proof, through their actions. And this is just another incident where someone hurt me and they're not getting punished for it. I've had this like my whole fucking life. And I hate to think it's because I'm a white man, and I don't like, I don't, whatever. I don't really fight back, physically fight back, and stuff, because I just wasn't raised that way. I mean, I hate to think it's all that people are getting away with it. Oh, it's because this is happening to a white guy. But my mind does go there, you know. So we'll see. We'll see if the police actually does their job and stands up for me. That would be nice. You know, all they would have to do would be look over the videotape, you know. But I don't really hold much hope for them to do that, you know. But I really appreciate everyone's positive. I need like lots of encouragement. I need like lots of thoughts and prayers for me right now. Thank you. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right, Eric. Thank you so much for your share, and you'll be in our prayers. Okay, Charlie. Good morning, friend.
Hey Christine, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good to hear. I'm Charlie, and I'm an alcoholic. Gratitude hour, you know, I feel grateful today. Can't say every day I feel grateful, but it's more and more, you know. I only have a year and a half sober after living life like a drunk for many years. And so I kind of like the daily reflection today. Because you know, this is the stuff I have to do to stay grateful. I have to realize that I have a program and to do something about it. And it says, we've entered the spirit, the world of the spirit. Our function is to grow. It's not an overnight matter. It continues for our lifetime. And that I understand spiritual things to be unconditional love, joy, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control, and humility. And like gratitude, like these things I can do when I'm feeling grateful. If everything's going haywire, it's hard to be patient and loving and kind. And I don't want to allow selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear to be a part of me. I block out spiritual things. Because those things go along with drinking. I'd have to be selfish to keep drinking. I have to be honest to keep drinking. Fear drove me to drink. When I can be angry at everybody, it's an excuse to drink. And it says, growing spiritually becomes a lifelong process. My goal is spiritual growth, accepting that I'll never have spiritual perfection. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how I could have spiritual perfection. Or I don't even know. I don't even think, you know, like Gandhi was like spiritually perfect. So I mean, I just do these things to try to grow and be a better person. I stay sober, one day at a time. That's what I'll do for the next hour. Take it from there. Thank you for your service. Thank you everybody else for your service. Have a good day.
Thank you, Charlie. And thank you for reminding me of that in the daily reflection that, you know, growing spiritually becomes a lifelong process. You know, gotta remember that. It's not gonna happen overnight. All right, Wayne. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for your service. Thank you for keeping the rooms open so that we can hear something from a higher power to change what needs changing. And I need to look at that for myself, not anybody else. Most of the time, when I look back on the journey of life, that, wow, I was aware of recovery in 1976, and I finally got sobriety in 2016. Failed attempts prior, 5 years and 9 years. And I did everything that you suggested that I do, like in service. You know, I did tons of service. I was more than happy to do something because I was always looking for something in return. You know, if I did this, I know I'm going to get this. If I did that, I know I'm going to get this. You know, all throughout my life, you know, and I was always a people pleaser because of fear. Fear ran my life. And the core root of fear is the disease, the source of the disease that wants me dead. And I could sit here for hours and tell you the experiences I've been through that I had one foot that crossed that invisible line of permanent damage or no return, and how God stepped in and provided mercy, love, unconditional love. But I didn't know that. I was too controlled by the disease of wanting what I wanted, what I thought was going to benefit me and provide for me what was going to help me. It had nothing to do with God. It had everything to do with substances, not just alcohol. Every substance you can think of, where I allowed it to play a part in blocking me from connecting with that higher power that I call God. I don't have to see God, touch God, or hear His words, you know. I just need to know that the existence of God exists. And I know that today, through the experiences I've been through. I can tell you, I could sit here for hours and talk about the blessings that God has provided me over the 10 years that I have now of real sobriety. And even then, I came to an awareness that God brought about the day before, well, a week before I got that 10th year, on a deeper level where I needed to be more rigorous, honest. I had to surrender other things that were creating damage for me, physically damage. COPD, asthma, leading towards emphysema, were almost diagnosed with that for almost 9 years ago. Every coughing bout I had, I didn't know if I was going to go home or not. That's how bad it was. I was losing consciousness. And that was happening every day for the past year. So I realized something through this, and how much I didn't love myself, and how much God loved me to show me that. You see, I became aware of that 10 years ago as God revealed my inventory to me. But there was little details, levels that were deeper and deeper that I wasn't aware of, and that came to me. That came to me. God showed me that. Now I'm loving myself. I've surrendered the things that I have, I allowed to keep in my life for that comfort. You know, an alcoholic loves the things that brings them comfort. They love sitting in that crap that makes them feel okay. Well, I don't want to be that. You know, and so I took action. I saw what was shown to me, and I took action. I haven't had one coughing bout ever since I surrendered. Not one coughing bout. I can feel the healing taking place in my body as I'm detoxing myself of the garbage that I kept putting into me. I feel the healing and the cleansing and the newness that's coming about. I am feeling stronger than I ever felt in my entire life. Gratitude? Oh, I have nothing but gratitude. I look to my higher power every morning when I wake up, and I ask for direction and guidance where I can be useful in service to God. Yeah, there's service in AA. I understand. I've done tons of that. I want to serve God today.
All right, Wayne, we're going to get to the next hand, please.
Right.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here with us. All right. Let's go to Sophia. I think you can unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you so much, Christine. I love you so much.
I love you.
I'm Sophia. I'm an alcoholic. I just want to share something I'm grateful for today. I was very anxious last night. I couldn't even sleep. And so I talked to two ladies in my home group and the Spanish ladies, and they said, why don't you go next door and pray for God to remove from you this anxiety and this desires to do something that was not good for me. And I went and I'm not religious, but I got on my knees and I pray in silence. And for some reason this morning I feel so much peace and serenity. And I'm grateful for that, and I know that came from my higher power. And I feel very emotional because, it's like I was listened to, and I'm so grateful for that in silence, God speaks to me. That in silence, I'm not alone. That I made a conscious contact with my higher power by being silent, by being willing to listen. I was listening in my prayer, and got answered because I don't feel that anxiety anymore. It was horrible, Christine, the way I was feeling. Thank you so much for letting me share. I just wanted to come in and say that prayer works. Thank you so much.
Love you, Sophia. Thank you so much. And I know that anxiety, not to crosstalk or whatever, but that feeling can be like paralyzing. It really can be. So I'm glad you talked it out and that you're feeling better this morning. When we give it over to our higher power, it just gets so much better. And then sharing in a meeting also makes it better too. Love you, sister. Dwayne, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. This is day 51 for me. I am a newbie. I'll be brief. I spoke to, first let me say I'm grateful for AA and all of the service people. And I spoke to a couple of friends of mine a couple of days ago, and they asked how I was doing. I said, I told them I was in AA, and they were happy to hear that. And they both said to me, one is in Boston, one is in Virginia, it's so good to hear Dwayne again. They were so happy to hear my voice again, sans alcohol and depression. I was dry drunk for a long time, didn't work. I relapsed multiple times. Now I've found a home group. I'm looking for a sponsor. I'm a little nervous asking one of the people in my home group to be my sponsor, even though I'm going out to dinner with them this Saturday. I'm just grateful to be alive, because I was trying to drink myself to death. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. Glad you're here with us. And that's the promises coming true. You know, when we work this program, the promises start to come true slowly but surely, you know. So we're just about at the top of the hour, so why don't we read the 12-step promises? Let me find them. Hopefully I can find them quickly. Yep, I got them. All right, so I'll read them, okay? These are the 9th step. Did I say 12 step? I'm sorry. The 9th step promises. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook on life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but they will always materialize if we work for them. Work, 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 right? Love the promises. And all right, that was a great meeting. Thank you all. Grateful for you all. Let's just close with the wee version of a serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you, my friends. Welcome. Eric, what's up?
Good morning, Christine. Oh, so many things are up, including me. I'm up, kids off to school, I'm here,
Nice.
and we're going to dive into another meeting here on AA Home Group. So good morning, everyone. My name is Eric. I am indeed a real alcoholic. I want to welcome you to the 9 a.m. open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous here on the AA Home Group platform. We are indeed here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've been here for you almost 6 years. Hour after hour after hour, one continuous meeting available for the sick and the suffering, as well as the healed and the recovered. We're going to open this meeting with a moment of silence. I'm going to ask my higher power, please, for the strength to facilitate this meeting, and then I'm going to drop the 11th step positive affirmation into the chat, and then we will get rolling. So let's have that moment of very deep, sincere, silent thoughts, as the last meeting talked about, as I heard Sophia talk about with Christine. We're going to get quiet for longer than they make you feel comfortable. There's nothing wrong with your audio. We're literally going to just be still and breathe. Good God, please help them. All right. And here we go. Dear loving universe, please make me a channel of thy peace, that where there's hatred I may bring love, that where there's wrong I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there's discord I may bring harmony, that where there is error I may bring truth, that where there's doubt I may bring faith, that where there is despair I may bring hope. That where there are shadows, I may bring light. That where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Dear loving universe, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be the one comforted, to understand than to be the one understood, to love than to be the one loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. and it is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. All right, I'm going to take a quick look in the background. Thank you, Michael, for your willingness. We're going to take a look and see who's here running the background. I know that Joe couldn't be with us here today, and Harold has stepped into the host chair. Yep, there he is. Thank you, Harold from Boston. Oftentimes you're on camera, but not quite yet. That's cool. I see Charlie's left over from the last meeting, and maybe Hank sticking around and hanging out with us for this hour. Julia C. out of Oregon is also here. Thank you, Julia, for your service. I see you smack dab in Alice's spot in the Brady Bunch Square, so thank you. It's a good spot for you. Stick around. Thank you for the service. All right, here's the deal. They're going to drop the announcements and so forth into the chat. One of them is not an announcement, but it's a description of who and what we are. It's known as the AA Preamble, and it tells us who and what we are. So, AA Preamble states the following: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. All right, I'm going to cue up more about alcoholism for our friend Michael out of Colorado in a few minutes. He's going to read that for us. But here are the announcements, briefly and quickly. One, we have a group conscience that's coming up on Saturday, March 21st, 3:15 p.m. Last night we had a steering committee meeting. That'll be updated soon, but I don't know when the next one is. Either meeting can be reached by going to our website, aahomegroup.org. There you'll find a button that takes you into a different Zoom channel than the one we're in, as there's always a continuous meeting going on. Seventh Tradition, you'll find that on our website as well. That means our monetary contributions come from members only, and they are voluntary contributions. There are no expected dues or fees, as I just said in the preamble, but please consider making a contribution to AA Home Group via our Seventh Tradition link, which you'll find on our webpage. Safety is taken seriously here. The folks I just introduced, Julia and Harold and Charlie, are here to keep us safe. If you have questions about your safety, or you feel something needs to be addressed by our host or co-host, reach out to them directly in the direct mail chat, or you can send an email to security@aahomegroup.org, and hopefully you'll get an answer responsibly soon. Okay. Please remember that anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. So who you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, please let it just stay here. Grievances and concerns, there'll be an announcement in the chat regarding that. Check it out. Same thing regarding service. That's where you can go and be a part of our team. Join our service team by going to the link on AA Home Group. Get yourself trained. There's training a week from today. It'll be 11 p.m. Friday night, the 20th. And if that option doesn't work for you and you're a daytime person, or at least 2 p.m. in the afternoon on Sunday, the 22nd works for you, get trained then. We only need 60 days of continuous sobriety and 90 days if you want to be a chair. So please get into service. Sponsorship, that is a form of service. This is something we like to call out here on our meetings. If you don't know what a sponsor is, first of all, welcome to AA. Stick around to find out. I can tell you that a sponsor for me was a guy who took me through the 12 steps and the book Alcoholics Anonymous. So if you are willing to sponsor, let folks know in the room that you are available. And if you need a sponsor, meaning you're the one who needs help, it's up to you to ask for a sponsor, to get a sponsor. And typically we encourage you to, ask someone whose sobriety you want, right? Some people find my messaging and the way I speak really interesting, and I've been asked to be their sponsor. It's an honor. Not everybody likes me, and that's okay. You don't have to. But find that person that has what you want and ask for help. They may or may not be able to help you be their sponsor, or they may not be able to be your sponsor, but at least asking, you'll be able to find that out. Okay, it's a temporary relationship. Don't feel like you're contracted to it. All right, what else can I say? There's a newsletter, it's called The Trudge. Read about it in our chat. If you really want to read about it, go to it on our webpage. Same thing with sobriety birthdays. We acknowledge sobriety birthdays all throughout the month in our fellowship Telegram chat, as well as in the Trudge itself. So let us know your birthday. Send it in to soberbirthdays@aahomegroup.org. All right. Newcomers, pay attention, please, because Michael's about to read for us, and this is the time where we ask people to drop their day counts into the chat if they have 90 days or less, because we want to know that you're in the room so we don't embarrass you, but so that we can put our loving arms around you, and also provide you with the resources that we feel are necessary in those first 90 days to help people get into the center of the herd, as we say. All right, get grounded, get here, get into the middle. So please let us know your day count if you have 90 days or less. If you're an AA milestone meter and you have just or are celebrating 24 hours, 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, maybe 6 months, 9 months, or a year, or multiple years thereof, then we want to hear from you too. So please drop that into the chat. We'll celebrate you accordingly. And with that being said, I'm going to drop back into the meeting. Michael, of course, will be right smack dab on my screen, and there he is. Good morning, Michael. I'll let you say it, although you've already said it to me in chat. Go for it.
Michael Alcoholic, happy Fucking Friday. Oh,
Am I sharing my screen? Not yet. I think I've already shared.
I got it.
All right, you got it. All right. Well, I put it up for everybody else too. There you go.
Okay. What about alcoholism on page 30? And I love big book. Most of us have been unwilling to admit we were real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we can drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday, we can control and enjoy our drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Any pursuit is a gate of insanity or death. We've learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently may be, has to be snapped. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking. We know no real alcoholic ever recovers control. All of us have felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. We are like men who have lost their legs, they never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics of our time like other men. We've tried every imaginable remedy. In some instances, there has been brief recovery, followed always by a still worse relapse. Physicians who are familiar with the alcoholism agree that there is no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. But by every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule, therefore non-alcoholic. If anyone who is showing inability to control his drinking can do the right about face and drink like a gentleman, heavens no, we have tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. These are some of the methods that we have tried: drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, never drinking in the morning, drinking only at home, never having in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wine, agreeing to resign as a drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip, swearing off forever with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums, accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We could increase the list ad infinitum. That's what allowing you to service.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, Shalimar, I see you're on camera. You're right there. I'm asking if you'd be willing to read, please, the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is the solution to the disease just described by Michael. Can you do that? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Awesome.
All right, Shalimar Alcoholic.
Welcome.
All right, 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives have become unmanageable. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. Number 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we are entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Number 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so, injure them or others. Number 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we are wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And last but not least, number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you being voluntold and stepping right in. I've muted you and I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but it does say here, these 12 steps are explained in the book, Alcoholics Anonymous. And that is a fact, Jack. All right. I see my friend Chip is all dressed up for work. He's probably on his way to the courthouse for all I know. It's great to see you, Chip. It's been a little while. He's nodding his head yes. And you know what he's inspired me to do? Before we get into any of the other day counts and so forth, I'm going to ask everyone to turn their camera on, because today's meeting is about being in the now. I know all of you can't do it, but come on, say good morning to me, folks. There's almost nobody on my screen on camera. It is 9:15 here in Atlanta, but I'd love to see you all and know who's here. So I see Lynn. Good morning, Lynn. Look, there's Lori out of Michigan. She's like, oh my God, I gotta fix my hair. Hang on a second here. Let me get my cap straight. All right, I'm better. There's Valerie. Good morning, Valerie. My friend Molly. Look, Harold is on camera and host, rocking the outfit as always. Shalimar, who just read for us. Michael H., who just read for us. Julia and Sophia, both service members, helping out. This is awesome. Like I said, there's Chip. I think I said hi to Valerie. And Molly M., if I didn't say hi to you, good morning again. Molly read for me last night, or read for us. It's great to see you. Lynn, and I think I covered it. That's pretty good. Oh, there's Albert C., too. Albert's got like 40 years of continuous sobriety, if my memory serves right. 42, all right, even better. No? All right, we're gonna ask him now that I put him on the spot. Come on, Albert, how many years do you have? Oh, we can't hear you. Your audio's not working. It is 42, right? Is that what you guys heard? All right, there you go. And there's my friend Catherine D. I was saving her last because I want you guys all to know she's wearing a Dodgers hat. I just want to point that out, okay? She's a Toronto Blue Jays fan. So she's wearing that hat because she lost a bet last year over the World Series. And she lost that bet to me. So thank you for wearing the hat. You finally showed up in it. Eric S. is here all the way from Australia, I believe, if memory serves. Hey, Eric, good to see you. So thank you, folks. So today's meeting is about the now, but right now we are going to dive into the chat, see where we left off with the positive affirmation that I dropped in. And from there, we're going to know that was the top of the hour. At least I will. And there it is. Many of the promised announcements. Thank you, team, for doing that. And then our first member to type in their day count was Dwayne out of Maryland with 51 grateful days. Cindy's here with 1,661 days. Julia C. has got a little mini milestone. I love it. I love it. I love it. 10 months today. You know, some meetings around the country do have a chip for every month. A friend of mine last week on the 9th was celebrating their 9-month chip, and it was this really pretty lavender chip. I've never actually looked at all the different colors for the months that AA makes, but congratulations, Julia. Go get that chip, and if not, feel one in your heart. All right, Danny reaching out to Catherine. I was so funny because that's who I thought of this morning when I asked Danny to read for us, but he had to go. Constance C., that was my aunt's name, Aunt Conti, we called her. Constance C. is here hanging on with 3 days. We're so glad that you're here. Oh, wait, there's a 10-month coin. Everybody look at Catherine D. She's got a 10-monther right there. That's for you, Julia. That's what a 10-month coin looks like. Thank you, Catherine. No surprise she has one. because she's got 7 years and change. All right, Constant, again, 3 days. Love you. Glad that you're here. Keep coming back. Angel out of Texas, 1 year, 8 months, 7 days. Eric, good morning, Eric. Good to see you. Don't know who you are, but I'm glad you're here. Molly M has 118 days. Mark F has 2,634 days. Pamela out of Massachusetts, who does a lot of service for us, has 681 days out of Western Mass, and has got the countdown to spring going. I love it. 7 days. Ain't that the truth? Does it fall on the 20th this year? You know, I actually haven't looked up when the equinox is this year. I usually would know it by now, but someone can type it in the chat for me. That'd be awesome. Candace, Philadelphia, 433 days. You know, I had the most amazing 4 days in Philadelphia last July. They still warm my heart. They were very, very, very special days. So it's the first time I've ever been there. So Candace V, 433 days. And I got to tell you, I went to one. Did we do 2 in-person meetings? We did at least one that I remember, with a beautiful little brunch afterwards. It was awesome. It was across the street from that old prison with the big rocks, you know, big stone wall. Anyway, I digress. Chip, who's driving on his way to court, 8,779 days. Shalimar, who just read for us, 2,140 days. And of course, Pamela is on the button with the spring equinox being March 20th, almost literally exactly 7. So it's basically 7 days, 1 hour, and 17 minutes from now. So there you go, 27 minutes from now. All right. Thank you, Pamela. We're going to keep the chat open. I'm feeling perky, which is ironic because the cup of coffee I made for myself is so weak. This is why we have scoopers and measurers, and I didn't measure. I did it by eye, and it sucks. So I'm going to just tell you, I'm drinking watered down coffee. So I feel like I'm in an AA meeting. This is great. That's what I could expect if I went to an in-person half the time. All right. I went to one the other day, and there wasn't any coffee, and I thought that was sacrilegious. I was like, what the hell? On a Sunday morning, no less. But whatever. Okay. So I'm going to pull a piece up from the grapevine. We are not going to read from the Big Book today, just to show that there are no rules. And even though I read from the Big Book nearly every Friday, though we had a speaker last week, the lovely Jada from Catherine's World of Newfoundland, spoke for us. It was an incredibly articulate, clear description of both the disease and the solution. And I was really grateful to have that speaker. And so I'm sorry that 2 weeks in a row we're not going into the Big Book. But I will admit that I am reading to you, and if some of you happen to have been there on Tuesday night, I'm going to read the same piece called Savoring Our Sobriety, or something along those lines, that I read in the Emotional Sobriety Hour, which I chaired with Angela R. 9 p.m. on Tuesday. So I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to share it with all of you. And I want you to really try to sit back and listen and understand you are hearing a piece about the importance of being in the now and then getting involved in today's meeting, please, because I would like to hear all of you. We got a lot of incredible sharing off of it on Tuesday night. It is very timely for me, pardon the pun. But being in the now has been a very important theme lately for me, both for sponsees of mine that I'm taking through the early stages of the steps, as well as just in my own personal life. And then actually for some friends of mine that are processing and going through their own, life being lifey, and hearing myself trying to remind them we only have now. This piece popped up Tuesday night. I had never read it before, and it bowled me over. I've reread it again this morning, and I really, really encourage you to sit back and try and get grounded and hear this one, because I think being in the now is one of the great lessons that AA taught me, because living in the past and worrying about the future did not serve me. So this is called Savoring Our Sobriety. It comes from CC out of North Hollywood. Which also warms my heart because I grew up in Hollywood, California, and still have a home there. And so, CC has more than one submission into the grapevine. I know that because I've read their other pieces, but I had not read this one. And this one is a doozy. 1982, August. savoring our sobriety. It was natural for us to begin our journey of happy sobriety in Alcoholics Anonymous with an anticipation of trouble and trying to live in the now, one day at a time. After all, we had spent years deeply regretting painful pasts and weeping about dismal futures. We are fortunate that so much attention is directed during AA meetings at the importance of making life a matter of today's concern, not yesterday's, nor tomorrow's. If we forget that growth is achieved one step at a time, we are doomed to flounder in confusion. I came to AA as an agnostic. What, besides the bottle, did I have to believe in while drinking? I was started on my understanding of a higher power by hearing that God has time only for each today as it comes. If God does not exist in yesterday or tomorrow, then we can be at peace with our conception of God only during the now. If we choose to retrogress into the past or project into the future, we'll be alone in our thinking, since God is not to be found in such areas. And the loneliness of stinking thinking is all too familiar to alcoholics. Living in the present rids us of both guilt and fear. Guilt can materialize only from an errant past, and fear from intrusions on unknown futures. Resentments develop only from what has already been felt, and fear from apprehension about experiences yet to be confronted. If we are to find spiritual growth and serenity, we must dress our minds each morning as carefully as we dress our bodies. Only then can today become the glorious tomorrow we looked forward to yesterday. Because each of us, at any moment, is the sum total of every choice he or she has ever made, it is not sheer fantasy to expect each day to be the best day we have yet lived. There surely never will be a wreckage in the future as devastating as what we encountered when we were guzzlers, so long as we stay sober. At some point in each today, we recovering alcoholics need to pay ourselves a friendly visit. Ultimately, at our individual paces, we will get to know ourselves. Some AA members go so far as to contend that an unexamined day may hardly be worth living. That's to paraphrase Plato. Today's sobriety cannot be chug-a-lug like alcohol. It has to be sipped, one taste at a time, so that each drop of serenity can be fully savored. It is well to remember that nothing can replace persistence as a tool for sobriety, not talent, genius, nor education. When we alcoholics concentrate on living only one day at a time, we find that the best gift of any day is a fuller understanding of values. The things that count cease being those that can be held in the hand and become only what can be held in the heart. Hence, none of our real gifts can be stolen from us. We can lose them only through our own carelessness and complacency. It's a tough job for most of us to avoid procrastination. Of course, procrastination does not belong in a one-a-day-at-a-time living. We must avoid the use of the word should. In AA growth, it is a put-off until tomorrow word, an indefinite word that accomplishes nothing. It invites rationalization. It is best that we substitute the word will. I will do, rather than I should do. Our program assures us that all answers to our daily problems are found in living in the now. Solutions that worked for yesterday's woes might be outmoded today, and reaching into the future for answers is wishful thinking. Perhaps all of the living today lessons we learn in AA can be boiled down into this often made quip. A sober alcoholic who has one eye on yesterday and the other on tomorrow is likely to be cockeyed today. Okay. I wanted to go through that one time, let it flow, and not step all over the author. But I do want to come back to a couple things that for me, I think it would be the portion of this lead that just really warms my heart. There are some really great zingers in here, but there's one paragraph in particular that I copy and pasted and sent to a friend who I said, like I said, was going through some, internal, growth really, but trials and tribulations. And it just stands out, and it's really powerful stuff. So let's go through this a little bit in the beginning, right? So I did at one time think that I needed to regret my past. And that's the last sentence of the first full paragraph here. And it says, after all, we spent years deeply regretting painful pasts and weeping about dismal futures. And I thought in some sort of self-flagellation that I needed to regret my past. And I have come to a position today where I don't. I am the summation, as the author talks about later in this piece, of my experiences, including the shame I once held of having to come in and out of the rooms and pick up those 60, 70, or 80 white chips of surrender over an 8-year period. That was my journey, and that's the journey it took for me to get to a point of pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization, which was the gift of desperation I needed in order to want the program which saved my life. So how can I regret those steps that I needed to take? Not the steps that are in the book, just my personal life experience steps that led me finally to able to cross the ultimate threshold, and that was to delve into the 12 steps. I can't. I'm grateful for them. And that's why today, for me, as much as I used to loathe the phrase, my name is such and such and I'm a grateful alcoholic, I will say it to you here and now. My name is Eric, and I am a grateful alcoholic. Because it took alcoholism, actively drinking alcoholically, to lead me to a room that turned out to have the manual for life that I've been seeking all my life. And I picked it up at 55. I'm 3 years sober and change. 3 years and change sober, I should say. The weeping about the dismal futures, for me, I didn't realize how many times I was doing that until I started to do true and honest self-reflection. There were so many times I was disappointed in the outcomes and the trajectory my life was taking, or the decisions I thought I was about to make, or that were leading up to that I felt were less than what I had hoped. And yet none of those were guarantees. They were dreams, and dreams are wonderful. Aspirations are important. Goals are critical for human beings, But to beat myself up over them is unhealthy and unwarranted. The now reminds me, all I have is this moment. What can I do? What's the next right thing I can do? So that gets us going. We are fortunate that, so if there's anything, look, it's hard, when I was in training years ago, becoming a financial planner, some guy came in and did some training. He said, look, one thing I need to make sure you understand when you're speaking to your clients is they're going to remember 75% of what you said by the time they sit down to dinner. They'll remember about 45% by the next morning, and within a week they'll remember, if lucky, if you really had a good delivery of your information, 5 to 10% of what you said. That's one of the reasons why we have to keep coming back to AA to hear the messaging, right? Is because we have wonderful forgetters, and I'm one of them. And being here and being reminded that this is a program just for today, we're not talking about just not drinking for today, but being present today is important. Because I don't want to flounder in confusion. And I used to, badly. Okay, here's the paragraph that I just love. It's 2 sentences, and actually it's 3 sentences. And it's the living in the present rids us of both guilt and fear. Guilt can materialize only from an errant past. We are human, I've been saying this line more frequently than I would have expected, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And humans are fallible. Pretty fallible. At least I am. And I no longer beat myself up through guilt and shame. Now, I may have the emotion, but I also have the solution to that emotion. And that is the redirecting and the filtering through my program and working with the power greater than myself to forgive myself. I have made mistakes. I will make many more. Some are of great consequence. But I do not pretend they didn't happen. By taking ownership of them, I have diminished their power over me and over others, I hope, and set myself free. And this is a program that promises happiness, joyousness, and freedom. Fear from intrusions on unknown futures. I have literally no guarantee that my head will lay on this pillow tonight. I could be dead in an hour, I could be dead in 2 minutes. It sounds dramatic, I'm not trying to be. My point is that if I take that extreme approach and realize I have zero control over my future, I don't get into that sort of flounder of confusion that was mentioned above. I don't start to develop new fears that are unwarranted that may not come true. A sponsee of mine yesterday was going to have a business meeting with his boss who basically had already called them all out via email earlier in the last weekend, right? Nobody likes to get an email from their boss on the weekend that says, what the hell's going on with this project? And then a call on a Thursday and says, hey, we need to talk and schedule an appointment. And he was in deep fear, but he walked himself out of it. It was awesome to see a sponsee apply the program and understand that he was intruding on his own future. And he just had to wait. And ironically, it got rescheduled for today. I mean, it sounds so trite in some ways when I hear it come out of my own mouth, but the future is unknown. It's just simply unknown. And here's the thing I'm very comfortable saying today. The phrase, I don't know, comes out of my mouth more than ever before with assurance, or at least with, honesty. I don't know what the word I'm trying to find is. I'll find it. When I say I don't know, I mean it. I don't know, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's okay to not know. And there's a lot I don't know. Turns out I know almost nothing. Which is a good deflation for my very oversized ego. Resentments develop only from what has already been felt, and fear from apprehension about experiences yet to be confronted. I mean, those two sentences are worth a 30-minute discussion, in my opinion, with any other alcoholic. There's so much to work on there. Resentments, of course, are one of the great drivers of alcoholism, active alcoholism. What's our role in it? That's the hardest part to figure out. And yet that's the key that unlocks the door. And fear, of course, which is right there in that sentence. So if we're to find spiritual growth and strength, we must dress our minds each morning as carefully as we dress our bodies. Our friend Avon was in the meeting on Tuesday night. I guess I'm not supposed to, so sorry, Avon, I'll apologize to you later. But he loves that line. And I love it too. I do 86 through 88 at least a few times a week. I'd like to think with a friend of mine. I do it with myself. But we do get dressed every morning if we're meeting and connecting with our higher power through conscious contact. And when I do that, that is a moment in the now, and that is asking for, guidance for the day that comes ahead. But I can only receive that guidance as the time marches on. And then, of course, we can have a really flowery, pretty sentence like this. This is after we've dressed our minds, right? Only then can today become the glorious tomorrow we look forward to yesterday. Poetry, right? That's a really good sentence. And that's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's what we do every day. And I've been doing it now for like, I don't know, it's probably coming up on 1,100 days. And I'm sane and sober. I love to pay ourselves a friendly visit each day. At some point in each today, we recovering alcoholics need to pay ourselves a friendly visit. Ultimately, at our individual paces, we will get to know ourselves. Some AA members go so far as to contend that an unexamined day may hardly be worth living. Yeah, checking in with ourselves is important. You know, I check in with a friend of mine pretty regularly, a few of them actually, but one in particular. But they check back in with me. And I know both of us have checked in with ourselves. And that's why we're able to give the answers to the other of how we're actually doing this. We're pretty aware and grounded. And that's the point of the early prayer at the beginning of the meeting. Getting to know where I am, where my feet are, is very important if I want to stay sober. And then of course, and this is where I have to just be, open and honest. I am terrible at my 10-step inventory at night. I'm terrible at it. I don't reflect enough. If there's something I want to improve in my 4th year of sobriety, it's that. And I know there are apps and all sorts of tools that I could be using, and I'm just not. I do more of the reflection almost the following day than I do at night. So there, I got that out and I owned it. I am not perfect and I'm not even close to it. Finally, we'll just go with a little bit more poetry. First of all, I never thought I'd ever read the words chug-a-lug 3 times in 1 week. I'm going to say 4 times now. Today's sobriety cannot be chug-a-lugged like alcohol. It has to be sipped, one taste at a time, so that each drop of serenity can be fully savored. I mean, clearly CC has a way with words, and I like wordsmiths. A little dicey to maybe tap into something that we all have maybe a negative connotation to, but what a great way to also receive it and desensitize or disarm, how we once used to drink, chug-a-lugging. And now I can sip sobriety, and I do. The things that count cease being those that can be held in the hand and become only what can be held in the heart. All right, you can already hear the flutter in my voice. I'd never understood how I used to, what I used to value and what I value today. I have a very big heart. And I have a lot of room in there for a lot of experience and a lot of people. And no one can take those things away from me. And that's a gift of sobriety that I can't express to the newcomer first coming into the room of how much their life will change if they're willing to put down the bottle and do the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. You will unlock and open a heart that can receive things that are intangible and cherish them, and no one can take them away. That is a gift of sobriety that keeps on giving. I won't say much more about procrastination. One of my great character defects and defaults still pops up. I won't, the fact of the matter is I try and do in the moment the next right thing. And with that, it's 9:42. I'm going to turn the meeting back over to all of you. I hope you got something out of it. It doesn't have to be as powerful for you as it is for me, but that's the beauty of being in the chair. I get to say these things, share them, tell you who and where I am, and then open up the floor to all of you. I see one hand up. I hope we get as much engagement as we had Tuesday night, but hey, I'm happy to sit here in silence and check in with myself. Michael A., thank you for reading. I have called on you first. I've asked you to unmute.
Michael Alcoholic, happy Spooky Friday again. Eric, thanks for the read. Living in the now. Be at where you be at. I look at it as, that fourth dimension, living in the now, not worrying about the future, not regretting the past. The past, it doesn't define me, but my experiences, I've lived them, I need to learn from them. And not the future trip. That's one of the biggest keys that I've learned, because I catch a few people future tripping, and I'll call them out on them, like, you're future tripping about this, come on now. You don't know if it's gonna go to, but you know, the crazy thing is, I threw it in the chat, a quote from Michael J. Fox: don't spend a lot of time imagining the worst case scenario. It rarely goes down as you imagine it will. And if by some fluke it does, you will have lived it twice. I mean, who wants to live a crappy situation twice? If it happens, so be it. I'll cross that challenge at that very moment. Living in the now it's the most important, just because of the fact I get to enjoy the moment. You know, that serenity, that harmony, that peaceness, that calmness. Just to be able to, you know, go out and smell the roses. Like literally, we all hear the saying, smell the roses. Enjoying a good strong cup of coffee, or watered down, such as yourself right now. I sent you a couple text pictures. You'll have to check them out there. Anyway, yeah, just, if I don't like the current situation, sometimes I gotta change it. If I wake up in a terrible mood, sometimes I have to think to myself, how can I get out of this mood? Well, a lot of the times it takes action. Go for a walk, go to the gym. Sometimes that action will change the whole turnaround of the day, and it will give you a different perspective. So, or go help somebody, get into service somehow, some way. That service is, oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. To be of service to another human being, whether it be an alcoholic or not. Say you have a neighbor, it's trash day, boom. Go over, you got an 85-year-old neighbor. He's hunched over, he just had hip surgery. Go knock on his door, give him a call and say, hey, I know you need your trash out. Let me help you. Let me give you a hand. So getting out of self in the now. And by doing so, it's kind of the pay it forward kind of thing. You help one person, that one person wants to help the next, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of the idea of Alcoholics Anonymous, I believe anyway. Yeah, the entering of the rooms of AA, that pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization point. You know, it was for me that looking in the mirror in the morning, saying to myself, how did I get this far down the tube to be where I'm at? Literally, I was looking at myself in the mirror, so sick, and wondering why I can't stop drinking. And I walked into the rooms of AA 2 weeks later, of course. But when I did, man, the amazing gift to be able to go out and enjoy the sun, enjoy the rain, enjoy the snow, whatever it may be, whatever the situation. If I can think of a positive outcome on every situation, it usually leads to, yeah, something grateful. So with that, I'll pass the time. And
pass the time was the last thing I heard. Michael, I didn't get any text from you. I checked WhatsApp, I checked my phone, and I checked the DM, so I don't know who you're texting, but it ain't me. But I can't wait to see what it is that you're finding. Look at that, he's got another suave picture up. I gotta just see, what's your new suave picture? Dude's got like James Bond photos for his avatar now every day. All right, next up we have Opal. Opal, where'd you go? Come back. Opal had their hand up. Did we lose Opal? They may have accidentally dropped out of the room. Received a call. Let's see, are they here? They're here. Okay, well, we don't have any hands up, so we're going to sit here in quiet reflection. This is a chance for you guys to get into the now, even though this is the sharing portion of the hour. "77 other alcoholics in a room in dead silence." That's amazing. Mark F., I've asked you to unmute.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm an alcoholic. Yeah.
Welcome.
Can you hear me okay?
You are heard.
Oh, good, good. I was actually washing my face and I dropped one of my earbuds into the drain, so I was able to pull it out. nevertheless, I'm certainly grateful for this meeting, and it's funny because this is kind of a new format. I travel between Colorado and California. I saw somebody else here is from Colorado, and the land of no snow. But nevertheless, and I say that sort of jokingly, but yeah, and I do a lot of in-person meetings in Southern California here as well. But I love the early morning meetings, so not actually having that option all the time here, this is a wonderful opportunity. And it's sort of, I've been aware that there were online meetings for many years given COVID and stuff, but and I have attended some, but I've been doing this regularly. A little bit earlier, but I stayed on because I was kind of late for the last one. So nevertheless, thank you for being here. For me, that reading was fabulous. I really will have to go through that, and I really appreciate what you said. I met with my financial advisor last night. I'm still trying to figure. I'm probably at 25%, so I'm thinking I'm kind of going down on the reading, but that part of, just I don't know. For me, it's getting up and really having that whole different perspective of what a wonderful day, how grateful I am. Given any struggle, God's going to be there. The program's going to be there to help me carry that through. If I just kind of surrender it, if I do surrender it directly, I think that is a will, right? Not should, will. I've been struggling, taking care of my mother after my father passed about a month and a half ago. They're well into their 90s.
For those about to rock,
So for me,
we salute you. Woo! Running with the devil.
I just have to surrender it.
Woo! Running with the devil. The devil is no fucking match. For hundreds of thousands of years, I beat the shit out of him every fucking time. Hand to hand, one on one, no match. Even with his 10 little brothers, once I beat the shit out of all of them. The devil is fucking no match. But unfortunately, my little brother Jesus killed him in 1945 in the heavens, so we cannot beat the shit out of the devil anymore. Shall it be written? Shall it be done? I killed the firstborn Pharaoh's son. Woo! Shall it be written? Shall it be done?
And you guys,
I said tomorrow, choose one.
Thank you for letting me share.
Shall it be written?
So much welcome. Just sent you my phone number.
Shall it be done?
Reach out to me. I'm from Southern California, so I grew up in Hollywood, and I'm also looking for speakers occasionally to speak on.
We're done.
If they want to tell you a story, I always find
2 hours, 30 minutes. Thank you for security assistance. We love you all. Thank you. Good night. You're the greatest. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Woo!
You did, and I mean that respect.